Welcome to Studio A. Our guest today is Mr. Stacey Jenkins. Stacey, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. My pleasure being here.
I'm so grateful you were able to come in, finally get you in the studio to talk with you.
Yes.
So let's get into it. Where are you from?
I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Born
You're
and
from
raised.
Fort Wayne?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where did you attend high school?
Went to Southside High School, class 88. Go
High
Archers.
school, South Side. Well, I went to North Side.
Oh my goodness.
We all got to go
Okay.
somewhere. We all got to go
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah, we do. We did. Yeah.
South Side, that's a great school. I have a number of friends that
Yeah,
attended
it
South
is.
Side. And
Yes.
where did you attend college?
I attended college for my bachelor's degree at Ball State University.
What did you study?
I studied criminal justice and psychology, so I
Why
double
criminal
major.
justice and psychology?
I was always passionate about the mind and the study of the mind, why people behave the way they do, what makes them react, and I've just been engrossed with it all my life.
So how people tick.
Yes, and what actually what started it was the Atlanta child murders. It got me into because that's the first time the FBI ever used a criminal profiling, and back then when the Atlanta child murders happened. We didn't have GPS, we didn't have
Right.
MapQuest or cell phones, so we literally thought that man was coming to kill us. We're like, he's coming here next, because we were on it. Because those kids that died then, and it's sad because people forgot about that case, and those kids that died there would be my age today. I'm 56, and they would be my age today, and it really struck a nerve in me. And although I come from a law enforcement family of 17 members, that right there is what made me want to be a cop.
Okay, the Atlanta child murders
Yeah, and a
made you want to be a
psychologist.
policeman.
Yes.
So after college, you went to the police force?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long were you there?
I was there, my twin brother and I, we were there from 94 to right after 9/11. When 9/11 occurred, my twin brother Tracy went to the FBI and I went to the Marshals. And then I stayed there. I used to say it was the worst mistake of my life coming back and leaving, but actually it had its purpose.
Now, when you went to the police force
Yes.
after college, was that here in Fort Wayne?
Yes, ma'am. We went through the
Okay.
academy here too as well.
Okay.
Yes.
The academy here in Fort Wayne. All
Yes.
right. And how long were you on the police force?
I was on the police force for 7 years, and then right after 9/11, I went to the government. I was a special agent and a criminal investigator, and I was with 3 different agencies: DOJ, EPA, and also Treasury Department,
Okay.
or FAA. I'm sorry, FAA. And when that happened, I was there for 5 years, and I loved it. But I was on a mission, and when I would come home, I would travel literally all over the world. That's all we did is travel. We never investigated in Chicago. We just traveled. We were stationed in Chicago, but we traveled. And when we came back, my family was on US 30 heading back to Fort Wayne the whole time. So after 5 years, it just,
So you were based in Chicago?
yes, ma'am. But I lived in Crown Point because Chicago was just very
Right.
expensive at the time, yes.
Right. You
So-
lived in Crown Point.
Yes, ma'am.
And you traveled all over the world.
Yes.
Doing investigative.
Yes.
Why criminology? What gets you about criminology?
I really believe I'm fascinated about it. Most of your people, like your podcast watchers and your true crime watchers, they like to watch because it's fascinating. I like to look behind to see the motives. What makes a person do that? Because as a homicide detective, I often stated, you have to embrace your wild side. You have to embrace your dark side. I get it. Okay, there's a difference from a cop that graduated, that went to DeWinger all their life, hung around people that went to DeWinger all their life, went to college, hung around the same type of people that look like they're DeWinger, went to DeWinger all their life, and they become a police officer. Then you got another person who grew up in the inner city, went to Southside High School, went to Ball State, became members of different organizations like the Lions Club. He just basically immersed himself. That person right there has a capability of understanding and interviewing people and getting to talk to them. My thing as an interrogator was other cops would get upset when a suspect would lie to them. They just get upset and go at me. especially in I call it the box, the interrogation room. If you lied to me, that was golden, because you know what that means. That means I get to go back, put on my face, my Billy D look, and look at the jury and tell them what exactly that suspect said to show that he lied. So I love it when they lied, you know. But a lot of cops, they get upset. But I try to say that it's good, because you can say that in court, say they lied, you know. So, and say what he said, that was a lie.
Okay.
So, yeah.
If you hadn't been a police officer, what would you have done? If you didn't go into criminology, what would you have done?
Nobody's ever asked me that. I was going to be and here's how naive I was. I was going to be a medic in the Army, because
really?
I love this TV show MASH. And I have severe dyslexia.
Okay.
Severe dyslexia.
All right.
And
how did that hinder you in school?
Oh, I felt, because no one knew
Back
how to
then,
diagnose
no, they
it.
didn't.
Yeah, I was just slow. I was put in special classes. Oh, that's Stacey. You know, Tracy was the smart one. Tracy was on the honor roll. Tracy, you know, graduated in the top 5.
Tracy, your twin brother.
My twin brother, yeah. And Stacey struggled. You know, I would have to memorize.
So your brother did not have dyslexia, but you did?
Yes.
Or you do, rather.
Yes, do. So, and sometimes I'll speak and I'll say words, and literally the words will come out of my mouth before I even thought about it, and that is because my mind is moving faster or slower than what the rest of my
Your
body is.
speech.
Yes, my speech, basically my pathology, rather.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So, when it was discovered that you had dyslexia, when was that?
That was my sophomore year in college, and
Oh my
I
gosh.
always tell my students about it. There's
Wow.
videos of me teaching on class online.
Wow.
And I tell my students, if it wasn't for this professor, he was from Africa, Nigeria. I went to go visit his family about 3 years ago. I went to Nigeria and visited him. He was the one. He got in contact with my parents, got in contact with everybody he could, and we got tested, because he said he reads well. He reads at a collegiate level. He understands at a collegiate level. He can basically tell us what the problem is, but when it comes to comprehending and reading, not reading out loud, but reading, that's a problem. He said, and his spelling is just, that felt good, because once I did, I literally loved education.
So after your
it.
sophomore year of college, your sophomore year of college, you were diagnosed.
Yes.
And thereafter, how did it go for you, your rest of your studies?
They went good. They went great. They even went better.
Because they gave you the tools to then know what to do.
Yes.
Okay.
And see, the thing is, I think that when I was at Ball State, and that's when I took on a double major, because I felt so confident that I get two bachelor's degrees. And so I got in psychology and criminology, but I averaged a C average in college.
Okay.
But when I got my master's degree, that's when I became more scholarly, and I made all A's when I got my master's degree.
And your master's is in forensic psychology.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's from Walden?
Yes, and I'm working on my PhD right now. So
Okay, all right.
two chapters away.
2 chapters away, that's incredible.
Basically, it's how to profile an active shooter prior to they commit the crime, because studies show there's only been 2 active shooters that didn't post anything or say anybody. It's the guy in California, which I think there's something deeper than him, or the one in LA that shot up the nightclub, or not the nightclub, but the country concert in I think it was Vegas. And he was a wealthy man. And he had like several different identities, and I'm sure there's evidence, nobody just bothered to find it, but there's only 2 people that just went silent, went dark, and then committed the attack. The other ones post something, and I've been trying to get an algorithm, and so right now I'm building a profile to how to detect if that person's serious about or if they're just hurting, or if they're serious.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, now you lived abroad in London.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
That was good.
How long ago was that?
That was 3 years ago.
3 years?
Yeah.
Well, wow.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
London town 3 years
Yes.
ago.
And the funny thing about it was I was coming back home all the time.
Were you?
Yeah, everybody that calls me that hasn't seen me for a while, the first thing they say, "You still live here?" You know, because when I'm on social media, I only post when I travel, and I've traveled 134 different countries in the last 4 years.
My goodness,
Yes.
that's a lot.
Yes, and it was all purpose. It was for my mental health. It was for my being, my well-being, and I would go and I had a setback. I had PTSD. It was bad. I had a bad setback and it caused PTSD, but no one can seem to give the answers. And I always would state, and I got to go back and take that out of my book because I was kind of aggrieved. I use the word aggrieved, not mad or angry, because aggrieved means that something was done to you where you got a right to be mad.
Now, is this regarding the incident that happened here in Fort Wayne?
Yes, my arrest. And so what happened was
the drunk driving.
Yes, and it wasn't drunk driving. And that's what the book is about. I took back pain medicine. And I took a minoxidil. And unbeknownst to myself and my doctor, minoxidil is known to cause severe bipolar effects in individuals.
Okay.
And see, the thing is, life was good for me. I was almost getting my PhD. I just got married. I bought a brand new, we bought almost a $400,000 home. We built it, and life was good.
Yeah.
And then one day I got a call saying my daughter got arrested, and I've always been a private person. I've never been the person, as a matter of fact, the cop that called and told me, said, I didn't even know you had kids, because I never hung pictures. I was never that type of person that talked my personal business at work. I was just straight going to work and that's it. And so, because I never hung pictures, and so the bipolar effects had me going to Krieger Park to end everything. Yeah, because I wanted my daughter to stay in jail when the cop called. And so something was telling me, you're the worst father in the world. You're no good. You're bad. You're this and that. You don't deserve to live. And around 3 o'clock in the morning, I just got up and left. And so only thing I'm grateful for that night is I passed out at the wheel and hit the curb and didn't hit and kill anybody else.
And that's why they thought you were drunk?
Yes, and I wasn't drunk. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to go to jail for 60 days. And this is a good thing, I still think I would be a cop today if they would allow me to go to jail, serve the 60 days. Because that way, for me, being a member of a family that has 17 law enforcement officers, either active or non-active in their family, I put mud on the name of my family. That's how I felt. I put mud on the name. Every time a cop would text me, they was texting me, and I'm crying so bad. The tears looked like I was outside in a thunderstorm because the tears were just dropping on the phone and beeping. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't. It was almost like a cut and paste, but it wasn't. I'm sorry, I put dirt on the badge, and I was saying to officers, and then so they were calling constantly, and then the PTSD it developed, got so bad where I just started to just distance myself from everybody.
So
just go
after
ghost.
The incident where they thought you were drunk, but you weren't, it was the minoxidil.
Yes.
You had PTSD because of being arrested.
Yes.
And being incarcerated.
Yes. And to even prove that, I wrote a letter, and I told my wife before I left the house, I said, I'm gonna leave. Oh, I told her before when she came and visited me. But it's in the book. I don't want to give all that away. But I told her I wrote a letter. I was giving my shoes away to my friend Terry. I was giving my hats away to my brother, and I was setting up all my financial things. So I knew what I was doing, So, and what upset me, the way it came with the PTSD, is unfortunately, I chose the job over my family. I was in the first day of school, I was in Beverly Hills on an investigation for first day of school. I was in Istanbul, Turkey for Christmas. And I chose because I always wanted to be that dude to please them, because I never.
To please who?
Please, because to me, those guys were my family. Law enforcement was my family.
Okay, so to please law enforcement.
I wanted to literally do a good job. I wanted to go out there and make a difference. And I thought that the only way you could make a difference, and I tried everything, gang unit, vice and narcotics, homicide. Only way you can make a difference is homicide. Because if they know that somebody's on that case and they ain't gonna give up and they coming after you, and you go knock on the door. See, I come from an era, my family, my dad, I'll never forget, back in the day when grown men used to wear those whitey tighties, my dad would answer the door. My brother and I'd be with our friends, we're in the TV, watching TV, and it's like a Saturday morning, and my dad, somebody knock on the door and they talk to him. We literally thought my dad was a lawyer. Hey, Jinx, what do I do? That's what they said. Hey, Jinx, what do I do if my old lady leaves me? Can she take the car? This and that. And people don't do that no more. Cops aren't that approachable no more because it's in my book, and I write poems on social justice and mental health. And don't get me wrong.
Let's talk about your book.
Okay.
What's the title of it?
Outside My Mind, Dirt on the Badge.
Outside My Mind, Dirt on the Badge.
Yes.
And where can people find it?
They can't yet. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for season 2 of Season Miami.
Okay.
And I got to clear it with, even though I'm not on contract anymore, if it re-ups and they ask me back, and I'm pretty sure they asked me back with the addition of my twin brother. That's juicy.
We've
So,
jumped ahead a little bit in that you wrote and starred on CSI
Yes.
Miami.
yes, the real CSI Miami.
The real CSI Miami.
ma'am.
How long have you been doing that?
Man, that was for, I moved to Miami for like 10 weeks. I stayed in, and then sometimes I would travel back and forth. And it got to the point where I would go and I do research on the case, and I talk to the producers at home, and I fly out to Miami and I do the research. I get the gist of the case. And then I go and I get the full-blown case itself, and basically we just shoot. That's it. It's just you go. The actors out there, they do the reconstruction, the reenactment, and we go and we do the investigation. We tell the story. We reevaluate. One thing I don't like
To
doing,
make sure that it's accurate.
yeah, that's another thing I don't like doing. I don't like second, even if a cop is a sloppy work, and I would never publicly, say anything to jeopardize their reputation or anything like that based on their work. But yeah, we saw there was mistakes in some cases. The one case, the favorite case of all my favorite episode I did was Triple X Tentacion, XXX Tentacion, who's an up and coming rapper. And I literally fell in love with this kid because he was on Instagram talking about depression and anxiety and mental health. And he was telling kids, hey, I'm going through this right now. If you guys are going through it, do not hold it in, find somebody. And I've never seen, for a black kid who has got that I'm a tough, tattoo stuff mentality, and you got to be in that lifestyle
To talk about mental
to be
health.
a successful rapper. You got to be in that tough lifestyle. For him to talk about that and people love him, I think it was great. He did a song with
And
Molly.
June is Mental Health Month.
May is.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
May
it was June.
No, Amazement.
Oh,
yeah, I know
okay.
that. Yeah, so.
All right.
And I didn't even get back. That's where I traveled the world, and because I didn't get any answers here. About my situation, what I was going. I said no, because about triggers.
You're talking about the PTSD
Yes.
when you said you didn't get any answers.
Yes, because I always wanted to know why, and what I come to find out, I did a 7-year journey.
So just to get the timeline
Yes.
straight, the PTSD
Yes.
was because of you being arrested
Yes.
and you being kicked off the force.
No, I didn't get kicked off the force. I retired. That's what a lot of people, I don't.
So that's some
I retired.
misinformation.
Yeah, I
You retired.
Yeah, I was able to retire. It
You
was more
retired
like
off the force.
Yeah, it was more, I tell people I had 2 good years left, but I only got, and that was one main thing because I never want to come bite me in the butt that anything I say, and I tell anybody, anything I say, you can fact check it. You will never find anything you can't fact check against me. And that's one thing I'm prevalent or really proud of. But one thing I wanted to be sure, because I didn't want nobody calling me out saying, hey, this, that, because you know how nasty people can be. And I call them shadow snipers. They're the jealous people in the background. Like, how the heck did he get this? I'm sorry, I thought
That's
this turned this up. I'm sorry,
That's
it's my
okay.
badge. Okay. One thing about that is you.
I want to get the timeline
Yes.
right.
Yeah. So
The
that.
PTSD
Yes.
was because of leaving the force.
No, the PTSD. I'll tell you what the PTSD was. The PTSD, like I said, I gave that to, and I had to discover this because everyone, all the so-called professionals here, thought it was because of my daughter, and that I let her down, and I told the cop to go ahead and arrest her for joyriding with some gangbangers, and everybody thought that's where the PTSD comes because I felt like I set her up, or not set her up, but I didn't help her. The thing was, it was the fact that right after that, the minute I got the bracelets put on me, they kicked me off homicide. They took me off hostage negotiation, and they put me in a it's called B district or E district. E District, yeah, E District in Fort Wayne is basically around Park Center, Parkview, and I don't know if you've been there and spent some time in the area. Just cruise around State Street area, Beacon, Charter Beacon, all those facilities. That's basically a psychiatric community.
Okay.
So you're gonna put a guy in there who just and that's when I knew that that I wasn't getting any love anymore. I'm like, okay, you kicked me off this. You kicked me off hostage negotiation. You kicked me off, and the reason you kicked me off hostage negotiation, you said, how would it, we don't know if we think you can, counsel or talk to a person who has mental illness because you just came from that. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But then when I saw where they were going to assign me in Edward District, I said 78% of my radio calls I'm going to be dealing with people with mental health. And that's when I knew.
And you didn't want to do that?
No, here's the thing. It didn't, no, that's what I did. I did want to do that, but here's the thing. Why are you gonna tell me you kicking me off a homicide or kicking me off these homicides, kicking off homicide and kicking me off hostage negotiation when you said you don't think I have the mentality at this time to handle with emotional cases of homicide, to handle with psychological cases. But then again, you're gonna shove me, not put me in strategically, well, this will build him up, it'll get any better. No, you shove me in that district where 78% of my radio calls where I'm gonna be interviewing are people who got some severe problems, because that's what that district is about.
Do you think they wanted you to retire?
That's a good question. I didn't want to come back. After that, I'm like, yeah, if you can do somebody like that, I've never been in trouble, never got written up, never got suspended, 25 years, had a clean record. If you can do me like that, I thought it was time to go. So I really didn't have any effort into it. So we were able to retire, and that's why I wanted to make sure, because when I go and speak, I say I'm retired. I don't say I'm former. I say I'm retired.
You're retired.
Yeah, matter of fact, when I get my pension every month, when I get my health insurance until I'm 65, it always says congratulations on your retirement.
Okay.
So that was very important to me.
Now let's talk about what you're doing now.
Yeah.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, I'm an adjunct professor.
An adjunct professor.
Yes.
Okay.
So
where are you teaching?
I teach at Wichita State with my twin brother.
Okay.
So he's my boss. So,
All right.
yeah.
And how is that?
It's fun. I teach psychology. I teach criminal profiling. I teach I teach crime statistics and crime analysis. Basically, how you pinpoint and target things off of the geomap, the geographical.
So you're enjoying this?
Actually, I am, because they're giving me my leeway. They're giving me my freedom to write new classes and new syllabus. And I think being on CBS didn't hurt, because kids are coming in, they're asking questions, and I'm getting a lot. I mean, there's a waiting list for one of my classes.
Okay.
And so, and I use, since I'm there, since I'm not there physically, I'm gonna write.
It's an online course.
But here's the deal. The deal is next year I'll be going there and giving at least three lectures a year.
Okay.
And that's cool, and I like that, because right now I use avatars, and it's like I'm there. It's like they're watching a video of me, and I'm just walking around through a crime scene, and I think that's what the students like the best, because it's like, yeah, and it only took me like 10 minutes to make a 30-minute video. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So what is next for you, Stacey?
Next for me, we have I've been waiting for my twin brother to retire from the FBI, and he did, thank God. Not thank God, but I mean, the FBI is losing a kick butt agent. They losing a kick butt supervisor. But it was time for him to retire.
But what's next for you?
Next for me is him. Next for me, next for me, I want to get my PhD. I want to finish my PhD, but before that, I want to get this show with two major individuals, two mega names. The one name I mentioned, that name is major. I think there's only one name that's more popular than him. Two names that are more popular than him, and that's Michael Jordan and Obama. Then it's this guy. And with him on there and the two twins on this proposal I'm writing, when I spoke with him,
your proposal is for a new show.
A show, yes.
A new show.
A new true
that would
crime
be on CBS.
We're trying to get it on CBS.
You're trying to get it on CBS.
But I want to get with my production company and this individual's production company. He also has a media company.
The unnamed person.
Yes, the unnamed person. And I want to see if we can
partner.
Do partner, because the whole pitch is, I want to send this first. I wrote him the first episode, and then I got 10 other episodes, or 10 other shows. And I said the whole plot of it is to be like 50 Cent is to the criminal, be like 50 Cent is to the Power franchise. I want this individual to be, and the Jenkins twins, to be like that with true crime docuseries. Because you got people out there doing true crime docuseries. They're doing a good job, but what's their pedigree? You know, or do they really know what they're talking about? Or are they having AI tell them to tell them what they're talking about?
So what you're really looking forward to is working with your brother.
Yes, yes.
And being able to write
Yes.
and
Yes.
not direct, but would you'd star in.
Yeah.
So you would write, you would star in.
I don't think I would star. I'd probably put this
Oh.
individual and my twin brother.
Oh,
What I
okay.
would do, I
All
would
right.
profile the cases.
Okay,
we
I
get unsolved
understand.
cases. Like we're going to do like the, I got a TV series I wrote for them called, and these are things, like I said, you got to embrace
You've
your
got a
dark
TV
side.
series. that-
These are 10 TV series that I want, that I'm producing.
Okay.
That I want the other producer to say, hey, let's start building our own franchise on
okay.
true crime documentaries. We got one on hostage negotiation. Got one on, it's called we're going to change the name. It's The One to Get Away. There's this guy, a black guy, Frank Matthews. I've always been fascinated with him. He was a big dope dealer, bigger than all the ones that you hear about. He was one of the biggest dope dealers in New York in the 70s, and he's still #1 on the DEA wanted list and never been caught. So we got a story about 10 people like that that the public doesn't really know. Hey, we don't always get our men. These people may still be out there. And I got one where I take a case where the public calls in, and I do a complete 62-page criminal psychological profile on that case, and then the public chips in.
Okay, let me ask you, we've got about 3 minutes to go. What keeps you in Fort Wayne, Stacey?
Nothing. I'm hardly here. My mother keeps me here. I'm here for her. If she was ambulance, if she can move around, I would take her with me, because
So Fort Wayne is your base, but you travel
yeah, I call Fort Wayne my
extensively.
crash pad. It's where I come and
So
watch
it's your
my-
base,
yeah.
but really you're traveling all the time.
Yes.
All the
yes.
time.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm getting a place in Miami in 2 weeks. Just so basically, I call it like a crash pad, somewhere
Okay.
just come and lay my head. And then I think, because I'm working on a project now with a group of activists that are trying to get real answers to the Atlanta child murders. So I work there too in Atlanta a lot. So. Yeah.
So Atlanta, Miami, and abroad.
Yeah, but one thing's for certain: once I get my PhD, whatever college takes me, that's where I'm going. Whatever's going to offer me make me a full professor and give me a tenureship, that's where I'm gonna go. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 2 chapters away.
2 chapters away from there. Yes,
2
and
chapters away.
I speak in September at Harvard.
Wonderful.
That was on my bucket list, because.
That's wonderful.
And the funny thing about it, when Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali had setbacks like I did, the only people that would allow them to let them speak in front of a community was Harvard University, and that's why I wanted to go there. Yeah.
Well, hopefully Harvard, in their fight with,
Oh yeah, yeah. So,
let's hope that Harvard stays around.
Yeah. So I was already told they're trying to figure out now how they're gonna pay me.
Yeah.
Because they were gonna pay me under a different category, but that category has got away. I don't know if you've read the new DEI policy that the government sent out to all colleges.
Yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, my job, my chair of my department and my brother, every semester I teach, whether it's the same class or not, I got to reapply, and they got to sit down and tell them why they need to hire me.
Wow.
Just because of the color of my skin. Yeah.
Wow. So diversity, equity, and inclusion has affected you personally.
Yes. Oh yeah. I think it's affecting everybody eventually. Sooner or
Yeah.
later, it's gonna affect everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, sir, it has been a joy to talk with you. It goes by very quickly.
Yes, it does. It was a pleasure.
So we'll have to have you back in the studio again to talk with you.
That would be great. I want to talk about those too, the bracelets, and so yeah.
Okay,
so that'd be
we
great.
can do that.
Okay,
We
yeah.
can definitely do that.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in, and be blessed.